Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian is a Weirdo. Today I'm going to go through some crochet essentials, and we're going to start with how to chain with crochet. Some yarn that I think is really great to start with is Red Heart Super Saver. You don't have to get the jumbo, you could just get the regular. Jumbo just talks about the size. But it's not the softest yarn, so it's not the best yarn you're ever gonna find, but it is great for not splitting. And splitting, I find, is the hardest thing to learn to get over when you start crocheting. So this is a worsted weight yarn, which means it's a 4 or medium weight yarn. You might also see Aran weight. Aran is a little thicker, but they're all kind of in the same class. So I like this yarn because, one, it's beautiful. It's a really amazing rainbow yarn. And two, it's great for showing people stitches because it changes quickly. So every yarn ball that you get, it will have recommended hook sizes. So here it recommends a 5.5 millimeter hook. I just grabbed a 4. You don't always have to go with the recommended hook size. It all depends on the stitch you're doing and what you're doing. So once you find something you want to make, follow the instructions through that, and that is usually the best way to do it. So first thing we want to do before we start our chain is we want to make a slip knot. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. My favorite way to do it is you take the tail, and this is the working yarn, right? It's attached to our working ball of yarn. So you take the tail and you kind of twist it over the working yarn. And then you can just flip that circle you made over the working yarn. Then you can pinch and pull, and you pull a slip knot. There's a million and one ways to make a slip knot. I'm not going to tell you that this is the only way, because that's absolutely not true. But this is how I make a slip knot. It's easiest for me. So there's pretty much 2 moves to doing a chain. So we tightened up our slip knot on our hook. It doesn't need to be super tight. That's going to make it pretty hard for you to pull the hook through. So just make it kind of fit. It doesn't need to be so big that it's coming off the end of the hook super easy either. So just kind of try to learn that happy medium, and that just takes practice. So the first move we're going to do is a yarn over, which is taking the yarn, and I'm doing everything right-handed. I don't know if my camera's going to flip things like it's been doing or not. So we can take our yarn and we're going to go over from the right side to the left. And we're going to hold the base of that slip knot nice and taut or tight or whatever, and we're going to pull through. And notice I kind of like turn my hook as I'm working. Turning your hook to go with your, whatever advantage it is, definitely helps. So like once I see how I yarned over, and this is a move that I do so readily that I don't even think about it anymore, but at the beginning it takes some practice. So you yarn over from right to left. You kind of turn your hook, see how that hook head grabs the yarn a little bit better, and then you pull through that, and now we have 2 chains on our hook, not related to the musician. Now, some things that we want to avoid is doing a really tight chain. So if you are pulling everything really tight, you control your tension through however you're holding your left hand. So if you're pulling your tension really tight and you're you know, making like a really tight little guy right there. That's going to be harder to get, you know, eventually we're going to go back through the stitch and we're going to try to, you know, weasel our way back in that stitch. It's going to be a lot harder if we've made a really tight stitch. The same thing can be said of making a really loose stitch. So let's say we have a really loose tension and we just, you know, we had like these kind of medium size here, and now we have this big old one right here. It's going to take some practice to get that tension to be, to fit all of your needs. I would say I have about a medium tension, but some people notice that they have either a tighter tension or a looser tension, and it's just about working with that tension to kind of get to a nice middle ground for whatever you need. So again, for a chain, we're going to start from the right. We're going to go over to the left and yarn over. I kind of turn my hook. This is not mandatory, but it helps me. And then I pull through that loop. So that is how you chain. I suggest if you have a pattern where you have to chain quite a few, like let's say I have to chain 50 or 60 or 100 or 200, whatever, I suggest using stitch markers that lock like this. Now you can buy them for not the cheapest at a store like Joann, or you can buy them on Amazon. Ooh, almost knocked my lamp over. And I think this is like a kit of 150, and I believe it was like $7.99, $8.99. So once you get some practice, you can try these. Now there's a lot of things you can use as stitch markers. Not so much with chains, but you can use like extra yarn pieces as stitch markers when you're working in the round and things like that. We'll get there, we'll get there. Don't worry, don't let it overwhelm you. You can use paper clips, anything like that. Although paper clips are a little bit more likely to split the yarn. So just keep practicing. Kind of get that to the right size. Get that loop to the right size, right to left. Turn and pull through. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to chain. Feel free to practice as many times as you need. Make sure that you know how to do a slip knot, because pretty much you'll always be doing a slip knot. How to tighten the slip knot, you just pull both ends, and how to chain. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.